This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2, Thank you, David. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, July 28th. I got my friends here, Lindsay and Al, and all of you out there. You're my friends. All right, let's get started. Simone Biles, she's taken a chance to take home at the gold in the Summer Games, is now fading because we just found out she withdrew from the all-around gymnastics competition due to mental health issues. Today, fellow Olympians like Michael Phelps, Dominique Dawes are all defending her decision. Let's all take a look.
First, I wanted to make sure she was okay. You know, it's got to be difficult having something like that happen in a competition. You know, we were just talking. I don't know if that's ever happened for me. So, but also, I think on the other side, this is an opportunity for us, all of us, to really learn more about mental health.
She's been labeled as the GOAT. She's been an Olympian before. She's expected to bring home 5+ Olympic medals and also lead the team. There's a lot that's put up on this young girl, but what I respect most about her is she's listening to her inner voice, and she made a decision that was best for her.
But there are those who are calling her out for abandoning her team. Those in quotes, of course, including this is Piers Morgan, who tweeted, "Simone Biles calls herself the greatest of all time, but no GOAT would quit on their teammates like that, costing them an Olympic gold medal." I want to remind everyone, Piers Morgan is the host that walked off after a weatherman got mad at him in an argument from television. Sorry for that little aside. I just have to say, come on, Piers. But what do you guys think about this? And do you think, and I want to ask the DBL Nation too, is this a generational thing? Like Michael Jordan played through that fever. Remember that game where everyone knows he played through? Carrie Strug landed one-footed, and Bella Caroli pushed her to do it. And this generation's like, no, I'm not going to make that decision. The greatest decision is knowing when to stop.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's definitely generational. We've all learned, even in the pandemic in the last year, what it looks like to really spend time with our kids or spend time at home and really just have a work-life balance. Some people learned the hard way, whatever it was, but people learned how to say no, or at least I can say I did. I don't know if everyone did. People who had the luxury to work and also work from home. But I think in Simone Biles' case, she has gone through so much trauma, just on a spectrum. Let's just look at her life. She was adopted. Her mom struggled with drugs, left her at 2 years old, adopted by her grandparents, and then she was sexually abused by Larry Nassar growing up as an Olympian. She's only 24 years old. You know, she's trying her hardest, and people are saying that she quit or that she's not mentally strong enough. Do you see how much she went through up till age 24? How is that not mentally tough enough? So people like Piers Morgan, who can sit on stage and be a white male and talk about all the jobs that he failed miserably at and then got new ones, really has some type of luxury to say these kind of things to a young 24-year-old black woman who went through all the things as well that black women went through last year, including the death of George Floyd, including struggling through mental health issues with Black Lives Matter. So really, I don't want to hear the chorus. I think if anything, there should be a chorus of praising her for protecting her mental health and not going through a breakdown just for the sake of winning.
Very true. And may I also say, she didn't walk off. She stayed. She gave chalk to the players. She was there for them. She applauded them. She was a good teammate. As well as I heard, if you are a gymnast and you know you're not there, you can severely hurt yourself mid-vault. And I think giving up mid-vault, she knew my body's not here.
Yeah, I mean, and we're looking at this just from the Simone Biles perspective, but think about her coaches and how this is being framed. I mean, if we're doing this story in 2002, Lindsay,
totally different.
I mean, she is front page of the paper, quitter, you know, with exclamation points after it, her coach lambasting her in the paragraphs to follow. And I just think everybody has had to confront their own mental health for the first time ever for most Americans, for most people, because of the pandemic. And they've been to a place where they're like, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent. I don't know how to do my kids' homework. I don't know if I can do this with my partner. And I think everybody is now much more aware of how important mental health is. And we look back at athletes that have, air quotes, pushed through it, and then they come out later and they say, I had a severe drinking problem.
Michael
I had
Phelps,
a drug problem.
there's one.
Michael Phelps was famously, I feel like he was ground zero for TMZ, getting caught with that with the bong.
He also was suicidal and very open. He went to University of Michigan, and after the Olympics, just said he fell into a deep depression. So I appreciate him speaking out. Well, masks, they're back.
Not excited.
I'm not excited. The CDC is now recommending that fully vaccinated people begin wearing them indoors again in places with high transmission rates. So speaking of which, beginning Friday, Vegas will require masks indoors for everyone. Here's
okay, buddy.
You don't think it's going to happen?
Okay, buddy.
It happened last time, Al. Here's what the CDC director said on GMA.
We know the vast amount of transmission that's happening in this country is among those who are unvaccinated. But we did, over this last several days now, see new science that demonstrated for those who are vaccinated that they could, in fact, transmit if they are one of those rare breakthrough infections. So that's new.
All right, so the new surge is also in cases they're fueling a new outbreak of anger. You one of those? The New York Times reports people are getting really frustrated with the unvaccinated. I would go so far as to say I feel personally that our country is being held hostage by people who think they know more than science. Again, medical exceptions, I understand. But if you think you know more than science, you're holding the rest of us up. And I have anger for that. And that's why I've always pushed for a federal mandate, or federal employees at least to have a mandate. That's why I'm so passionate. What do you think?
I mean, I'm frustrated at, I think, the CDC and the leadership, because constantly we get these updates. I mean, a couple months ago, we were saying, everyone take their masks off. It's up to each business. We're seeing different signs up. And it gave this fake wave of hope that we're now seeing, where your mask has to be back on. And now vaccinated people are transmitting at a higher rate than they suggested a couple months ago. And this has been the trend throughout the entire pandemic, where they're releasing information, backpedaling, changing information, updating, using the excuse that we're scientists or working with scientists that are giving us play-by-plays. But why don't you let the public know when you're sure?
But don't you think they also think the public isn't playing along fairly? Like, instead of blaming the leadership, they're seeing that we're not following along. They gave us the vaccine. People just ain't taking it.
But I mean, and that was the one thing that I remember reading a couple months ago after the vaccine came out. They said if not, everybody's talking about herd immunity, but people were saying that this virus is going to mutate, especially if enough people don't get vaccinated. And that's exactly, because now you're starting to hear about Delta variants.
Gamma, there's a Gamma.
I've heard of Lambda as well, and that's what viruses do. They mutate. They evolve. That's why they're still around. And there is a frustration there for me, Lindsay and Tori, but like I feel it's almost sadder to say that I don't expect much. No. There's too much.
We didn't even need 100%. We needed 80%.
But what are we going off of, the honor system? Like, this is so stupid. We're telling people just like, okay, please get vaccinated and we'll see what happens, like, and hoping for the best. That's not how anything works.
That's why I want the federal mandate.
If you told everybody, pay your taxes by choice, be a good person, people would opt out.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. You need 5 shots to get into kindergarten. Where's the confusion here that we all just can't do that? To go to Africa, in certain places, you need a yellow fever
But also
card.
the public needs to be calm and convinced that it's not going to affect people, like you said, with pre-existing conditions, kids, and other people that can still pass it. Even if we get that 80% of adults, kids still can't get it right now. They're running trials on people. People don't feel safe putting their kids in those trials. So, like, we have to come up with a better solution and just let people know when we're sure, which is why I'm frustrated, because we can't force people to do stuff that they're not comfortable with. It's a medical decision for your body and your health.
Or is it a public health emergency decision?
And that's what I'm saying, Lindsay. You're asking the public to be calm. This is a public that got upset about Mr. Potato Head. Like, our whole business model is not to be calm about anything. And there is now half of the country that is on an algorithm that is meant to outrage you over everything. And whether it's a Disney cartoon or a female lead in the X-Men, you are supposed to be upset about it. So the idea of a vaccine, that is a cash cow, because they are always going to have something they're trying to. This is just like what happened to Jewish people in the 1930s. And we're going to see this forever, because not only are we divided, but there are people that are only getting their information from people that get paid to outrage them.
Right.
So they're never going to be like, hey,
that's
cool,
why.
y'all.
That's why I want the mandate.
It'll kill their business model.
That's why I want the mandate. I just will say, if you don't believe in science, it doesn't matter. Science will happen whether you believe it or not. Coming up on TV.
Magic.
Yeah, magic is real, right?
There we go.
Okay. A woman born into the family on the run, how she went from international fugitive to fashion model, and an ugly baby trend. Say what? Yeah, we'll explain why parents are poking fun at the way their kids look.
Closed captioning provided by
Well, hi there, DBL Nation. It's Kelly Schubert with the DBL Digital Team. Happy Hump Day. Let's go to the desk and see what our hosts are doing. Hi, guys. How's it going today? Al, that's a fancy watch, and it matches with your outfit.
And you've been having
I really like
I've
it.
been noticing. I haven't been saying much, but he's been having like
matching it with his outfits.
Yeah, he's been matching his outfit.
I like it.
I feel like a young Luke Skywalker under Kiri. And the best thing about Carrie is she's sarcastic like me, so I put something together and she'd be like, you look like an unemployed magician. And I'd be like, okay, don't put purple with that.
Does
and
she
like,
tell you to wear which watch for which outfit or no?
No.
You decide that.
Yes, that's my thing. Every morning is I go
Has
through my watches.
she ever went off on you like that watch? You could have picked a different watch?
No, it's usually the shirt tie combo. The shirt, like it took me a while to figure out the pocket squares. This one was easy. But like pocket squares, you can look a little bit magician-y if you don't.
Got it.
Yeah.
Get the fold right.
Tori,
Get it just sitting in there.
Tori, what's going on over here with you?
Well, I just want to let everyone know I'm turning 40 in January, and all of a sudden,
You're in your head. I know it's not real. No, this is not real.
bags.
Did you go to
under the
sleep late
eyes?
last night?
Not really, but I'm noticing the eyes are getting real. They show, and then look at this, the crappy neck.
No,
I promise, I think you're just seeing things. Let us know what you think.
Am I in my head?
Yeah, and I don't think touching it, when you put your fingers on it, you're taking your makeup off of it. And
Is this not attractive?
I think you should stop that.
And also, you ever put those things on that like sit right here, those gel
Yes.
pads?
Should I do that?
They
Yes.
actually work.
Okay.
The Thomas Peter Roth ones are my favorite.
I've only done them once. I got my makeup done, and they put them there before they started, and I was like, whoa,
And if you
buddy.
keep them in the fridge, they're even better because it just gives you that little clump. I know Ginger Z, GMA meteorologist, she puts them on every morning before hair and makeup.
Okay, so that's where I need to go now.
I'll send you them.
I'm that person now.
Yes.
I'm a football
But
player.
no, those are good though.
They really
are,
do work,
yeah.
and they feel so cold if you keep them in the
That's what
fridge.
we're talking about.
Everything, like when I see the
'Cause I have-
retinol and all those Maybelline commercials, I'm like, does this work?
They just plump
Well,
it
don't
up
have
for
to-
the
you
day.
go too far. I don't
so
know
it's
about
really
all
just
that.
plumping your under eye up for the day. TBL Nation, there's your beauty tip. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. There's this new trend on social media. I don't know if you've seen it. Moms and dads are posting unflattering photos or videos of their babies. So I love this. Check out this mom's post of her baby that went viral. Oh God. She wrote about it in the comments saying, when you hop on the ugly newborn trend and wake up to 10 million views, 2 million likes, and 20,000 shares on TikTok. She also posted a glow up photo of her baby. So what do you see or what do you say when you have and see an ugly baby? What do you think of moms or dads posting these unflattering photos and essentially trolling their own kids? I gotta be honest, I don't find babies attractive. Are you looking forward to
So
Well, at least now she knows how you feel.
I'm not gonna show you the baby. No, before I got pregnant, I've always seen people's babies and they'd be like, oh my God, so cute. And they'll be like, looks just like the dad. And I'm like, looks like a mush face. I didn't get it. So I'm gonna really try to be mindful as I look at my baby and say, oh my God, the cutest baby in the world, that to everybody, she is not going to be. And then she's gonna grow up and just be a nice, pretty little girl. And they look like just a mush of things, I think, in the beginning. I don't see the dad, I don't see the mom.
You don't see anything.
Like a smush, chubby little
like a Picasso.
Yes.
What happens with your three? Did you think, oh my God, they look like me? Or are you like, oh God?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting over there. I can see our co-host Jeff Schroeder over your shoulder, and I know that we were both, in the when everything went down, the baby was actually born.
The delivery room.
Yes, in the thing. Sorry, I get paid to talk. And honestly, it's a traumatic experience, and it's not a very pleasant looking. There's fluids. There's it's a traumatic situation
for both
going
of
on
you,
for everyone going on. And so when the baby comes, it is cute, but it's not like it is in the movies.
It's not Gerber.
I think in the movies they give you like a 4-month-old because sometimes you're like, that baby's way too big. But I do think Lindsay, God forbid, if she's not the cutest baby, you can get your follower count up.
I can do the TikTok.
That's my question. So if I did have a child and they came out, there's one baby that came out of a C-section like really grumpy. I don't know if you've seen that picture, but I would totally play up the ugly baby. Would you play that up or no?
Oh, good question.
So when do you take that picture? Because Jeff will show me a video this weekend where he was saying, look at how my face looked when the baby came out.
The baby
so I don't see
out.
Colin taking a picture in that moment being so frantic and also getting the baby's face and the baby's like, to get that moment out of the C-section is like amazing. That's
You
somebody
need a
who's
birth
calm
photographer,
and
yeah.
collected and a birth photographer.
That's right.
If Colin catches it, then maybe I'll share it.
What if your baby isn't the most attractive? Will you play that up or no?
I really can't answer this question beforehand. This is my first kid. I'm going to see how I feel. I'm not really sensitive, so I might.
Ugly baby and what else? Okay.
Ugly baby, I love it. Coming up on DBL, the remarkable true story, this is insane, of a woman who was born into a fugitive family. How she finally ended up going out on her own and turning her life around. She is awesome. Stay tuned.
Now that there is a fourth wave of COVID sweeping over the U.S., fueled by the Delta variant, the debate over masks is heating up again. But it turns out your old cloth mask might not cut it. Let's connect the dots. Any way you look at it, the Delta variant is a lot more contagious, with evidence indicating that it can travel from person to person in just seconds and with limited contact. Researchers have found people infected with Delta have 1,000 times higher viral load than people infected with the original coronavirus strain. That has helped it race across the country, and it has public health officials asking even vaccinated people to wear masks again. But we're not talking just any mask. The former head of the FDA, Scott Gottlieb, says we need to be talking about high-quality masks like N95 respirators. Those are the medical-grade masks. They provide more protection than cloth or surgical masks. Cloth masks can be problematic because they don't filter out enough particles, and surgical masks don't fit tight to your face. Now, there is one group that should not be wearing N95s. That's children. They have not been approved for use in kids, and probably more importantly, can be uncomfortable to wear for long periods of time. Experts say it's better to find a mask that kids can wear comfortably to encourage them to use them. And of course, your best protection is a COVID-19 vaccine.
Welcome back to DBL. She spent her childhood following her family of outlaws as they bounce from country to country, hiding from authorities. In today's DBL Spotlight, we chat with Cheryl Diamond. It was a life on the run, fleeing in the middle of the night, wiping down fingerprints, destroying all evidence of life, only taking what you could carry. It's how Cheryl Diamond and her family lived their life. Cheryl was born into the outlaw life, avoiding Interpol as they hunted her father, a suspected con man who took millions from his clients. By age 9, Cheryl has lived in more than a dozen countries, under 6 different identities. As a child, she enjoys her life of adventure, but in her teen years, things start to unravel. By the age of 21, the isolation by the hands of her father has taken its toll on Cheryl's body. Diagnosed with Crohn's disease, unbearable stress is the trigger. Cheryl tells her father she is abandoning the lie and leaving. Taking her mother with her, the two flee to Europe, and for the first time in a lifetime, they get a chance at normalcy and to stop running. Cheryl, welcome to DBL. Now, your story should be a movie. Now, there's so many layers, so let's dive into it. First off, you didn't know your real name, your birthplace, or birthday growing up. How did that shape your childhood and your identity?
I think it definitely put me in a position where I would either lose my sense of self or I would have to look very deep inside myself and figure it out young.
Wow.
And luckily, that's what I tried to do. But being born into a family of fugitives isn't easy.
Your family is constantly on the move, on the run, evading authorities. But is there a story, like a scary getaway story, that stands out amongst all of them?
It's when we were hurtling down the Himalayas in a rental car in India and the brakes failed. And on one side there was just a sheer drop into a precipice, and on the other was this wall of very dark, forbidding rock. And I won't give it away, but somehow we survived it. And then by the time we got to the bottom of the mountain, it was midnight and we were stopped by armed soldiers with guns for trying to cross the border. So that's just the beginning.
Wow. Now, your family had a set of rules that they lived by. So can you tell us, what were they?
It was called our Unbreakable Outlaw Code, and it was to never trust outsiders and always be loyal to your family, and to be a criminal, but be a noble one. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized the most dangerous people weren't the ones chasing us, but they were actually my own family.
Wow.
Well, you know, you hid for over 20 years, and now you're out in the open. There have to be some lessons that translated between the life of staying in the shadows and now being out in the public. What would you say are the lessons that you've brought with you?
For sure, it gave me the ability to feel comfortable in almost any situation, good or bad. And it also gave me a faith in myself that I know how I react under tremendous pressure, or in situations where you have to make a split-second decision. And so, although the experience of growing up in that way definitely left scars, they're ones that I'm proud of now, and I think that's what makes all the difference, is how you wear it. And it helps to be that resourceful as well.
Now, your dad and your sister are still on the loose. So do you feel safe or unsafe knowing that?
I don't feel completely safe, that's for sure. And it was a big question in my mind as I was writing Nowhere Girl, about whether they would find out and do something, because as you see in the book, they're very violent and unpredictable people. But I made the decision early on that this was something I had to write. It wasn't even really an option for me. If you don't have a voice as a child, I think maybe that's why I became a writer. It's this urge to tell what happened and to bring it out into the light, because it was a very difficult, horrific story at times, but it was also absolutely magical, and this adventure unlike anything people have heard. And so I did want to share both sides of the story, the magic and the darkness.
To our DBL Nation, I'm sure you're super captivated, as am I. You can learn more about Cheryl's remarkable story, literally remarkable, by getting her book, Nowhere Girl, a memoir of a fugitive childhood. You can also check out her website, which I'm going to do. You can follow her on Instagram. Cheryl, I just want to thank you for opening up to us and trusting us, and for joining us today with that beautiful soul of yours that can walk through fire and come out the other side. So beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. Once you hit age 40, I'm coming up in January, it can get harder and harder to lose weight and keep it off. Oh, thanks. We're chatting about it on DBL's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. So turning 40 is great, and I say that, I really mean that, but your metabolism does slow down. Not so great. So here are a couple ways to help with that. First, create a list of reasons you want to lose weight and figure out exactly what's motivating you. Next, be mindful of those portion sizes while eating. This will easily help cut back on calories. And remember, we're just a work in progress. And remember, you're not in this alone. Clearly, I'm with you here. Staying active is so important, and QB has made it easy, regardless of physical ability or age. Try their underage elliptical at home. Call 1-800-782-2351 or visit QB.com to learn more. I appreciate that.
Since I started.
Oh, go ahead.
No, we were supposed to work out together since I started. Now there's a whole baby in there, but hopefully after the baby comes, we can work out together.
We're doing it. We're going to make it.
You know what I found really helps me is I pre-package my meals to start the week and just have them they're ready to warm up, just kind of quick. It takes like maybe an hour to just chop all the veggies for the whole week.
You become like Martha Stewart, dude.
No, you know what it is? You don't panic because when you're hungry and you don't want to go home, chop carrots and cook, you're just going to get fast food. But if you know you just have to throw it in the microwave, it really cuts down on bad meals.
Some part of chaos is fun, though, Al. Come on, you can't be this organized that you have the same meal every day.
I can.
He's going to Soul Cycle. I'm like, who is this man?
It's no fun.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for staying with us. Bye, guys.